Let's quickly talk about the sizes. So this is my reissue bag, and this, as we know it, is called the 225. However, Chanel terminology is different. They call this the small. So we know 224, 225, 226, and 227. However, Chanel calls 224 as the mini, 225 as the small, which is the one I have. 226 is called the medium, and then 227 is called the large. Okay, so how does this compare to the classic flaps? Because we're all much more familiar with the classic flap sizes. So the 224, which Chanel terminology is mini, is in between the rectangular mini and the classic small. The 225, which is the one I've got, which Chanel calls size small, is in between the classic flap small and the classic flap medium large. The 226, which Chanel calls medium, is in between the classic flap medium large and the jumbo size. And the 227, which Chanel calls the large, is in between the classic flap jumbo and maxi. So I hope that makes sense, because when I was choosing my reissue, I got so confused. So just remember, if you go into the store and ask, oh, can I have a look at a 225? They're not gonna know, they don't use that terminology. It's mini, small, medium, and large. Just wanted to show a really quick bird's eye view of these three bags, which you saw just before, because it was hard to tell the differences before. But so this is my classic flap small, that's my reissue in small, and that is my classic flap in medium to large. So really the main difference is the length. I'm going to list all these lengths in the description box, but this one here is 23.5 centimeters in length. My reissue is 24 centimeters in length, and my medium large is 25.5 centimeters in length. Depth-wise, they're pretty much the same, and in terms of height-wise, these two are pretty much the same height, and the small is like about 1.5 centimeters, shorter. So they're very similar. However, when I'm going to be talking about and comparing a side-by-side, I will actually be comparing these two because these two are the most similar in size. So let's get to what are the differences. So there are four main differences between the classic flap and the reissue. The first one being the lock. On the classic flap, we've got the double C interlocking lock. So you would just open it up like that, and that's how it closes. Let's move to the reissue. So on the reissue, this lock is a rectangular lock, and this is how it opens. There's actually Chanel inscribed down the bottom, and it's still a turn lock. But this is called the Mademoiselle lock, and it's called the Mademoiselle lock because Coco Chanel never married. The second difference, let's move back to the classic flap. The second difference are the chains. On the classic flap, it has an interlaced chain. So it's got metal and it's got leather all throughout the chain. Now if we look at the reissue, this chain is called the Bijou chain. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong, but that's got no leather, and yeah, it's just all metal. It's got such beautiful detail. You probably can't tell, but in all these middle parts, can you see that little bits of detailing? It is just gorgeous. The third difference is the leather. Now, most reissues are in a distressed, aged calf skin. So can you see with my one, all these lines and everything through it? And that is normal, and that is part of the leather. There's nothing wrong with it. And each reissue will have different characteristics and different lines placed everywhere through it. And even though the reissue can come in other materials too, it can come, in metallics and everything, predominantly it's in this aged distressed calf skin. Now, for the classic flaps, the two most common types are caviar, which you can see on my pink bag here, or lambskin. Likewise, with the classic flaps, it can come in a variety of materials as well, from suede to just sueded caviar, just a lot of patent things like that. But mostly it comes in caviar and lambskin. So that's the third difference. And the final difference is the construction. Now, if you look on the sides of the bag, see how with the classic flap, it's got a flat bottom like that, so it sits flat. With the reissue, it's got a V-shaped bottom, and that's how it's specifically been created. So you can see a line through there, and it's got this V-shaped bottom. And down the bottom, if you actually look at the bag like this, it looks like it's got a saggy bottom, but it's been made that way. It's not a fault. However, if you really want to, you can sort of push it in to make it more rigid and flat. However, for me personally, I am keeping it with the saggy bottom. So that's the reissue. And then if you compare it to the classic flap, obviously this has got the rigid bottom and it just sits flat. So that is the fourth difference. Besides the bottom, everything else is the same. So both have the double flap with the zip like that, as you can see. Both have the back pocket. So inside and how they look outside, they all look the same, just besides the bottom. So what fits in the reissue 225, otherwise known as the small? Let's take a look. So I've just bought a variety of things and we'll see. So the first thing I've got is the Louis Vuitton mini pochette. And if I put that in there, you can see it takes up most of the space. But look, let's just see what else. Then I've got the Chanel zippy coin purse wallet. I've kind of just put lots of cards in there, can hold quite a bit. Let's just put that there. And then I have got my Hermes Bastia coin purse. Put that there. I definitely need my phone. Let's see if we can put that in there. So I've got an iPhone 6 Plus with a small case. So you can see it's pretty full already. And another must is, let's just see, it can also fit, in terms of my LV mini pochette, I put makeup and everything in there, but just say you didn't put makeup in there. You still have space for, this is a Chanel lipstick. I never use these back pockets as lipsticks. I know that's supposed to be a lipstick holder, but I never use it as a lipstick holder. And then I've got a MAC lipstick, so that fits in there too. I will definitely need to put my keys in there. That will just go there. So it's pretty packed. I'll just see if I can fit one more. I've got my Dior card case. And let's just shove that there. And let's see. So I don't tend to do up this top button. Okay. So it does do up, but it's pretty fat. If you have a look on the side, it's not bulging. Can you see with the double flap there? It's, it's not bulging or anything, but that, I would say that's at max capacity. So it fits quite a bit. Definitely all your essentials. I probably wouldn't pack it this much, but so that you know that 225 can fit all that in it. Okay, so those are all the items that I fit in my reissue 225, the small. Let's see how much we can fit into the classic flap medium large. So I reckon it's going to be pretty similar. So I've got my LV mini pochette, got my little Chanel zippy coin purse. I'm going to put that in the front pocket, my phone, my Bastia, the Chanel, my Dior card case, 2 lippies, 1, 2, my keys, and it's got a teensy bit more space, so I reckon I've got my LV little clay that could fit in there too. That's what it looks like, so it's pretty full. You probably could put 1 more lippy up here, or maybe a really small pack of tissues. Likewise, I don't do that up, and that closes fine. It's also pretty fat too, but it's not crazy. It's not completely bulging, as you can see. You can still see that slight line. There's the double flap. There's nothing up the top, but that would be probably max capacity.